We've all been there, haven't we? That unsettling feeling of being lost, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually. It's a universal experience, yet one that can feel incredibly isolating. When you're lost, everything seems uncertain, and every direction feels like the wrong one. It's in these moments that we question everything: our purpose, our place in the world, and even our very identity. Albert Camus once said, "Nobody realizes that some people expend tremendous energy merely to be normal." Being lost often stems from the overwhelming pressure to fit into a mold that was never meant for us. We spend so much time and energy trying to be something we're not that we lose sight of who we truly are. The act of being lost, in this sense, isn't just about not knowing where you are, but about not knowing who you are. When we talk about being lost, it's easy to think of it as something negative, something we should avoid. But perhaps being lost is more than just a state of confusion. Perhaps it's a necessary part of the human experience. Jean-Paul Sartre believed that man is condemned to be free because once thrown into the world, he is responsible for everything he does. This quote strikes at the heart of why being lost can feel so overwhelming. Freedom is terrifying. It's the realization that we have the power to choose our own path, but also the responsibility to live with those choices. When we're lost, we're confronted with the vastness of our freedom and the weight of our own potential. Yet, within that potential lies the seed of rebellion. Camus also said, "The only way to deal with an unfree world is to become so absolutely free that your very existence is an act of rebellion." When we are lost, we are given the opportunity to rebel against the forces that seek to confine us, whether they are societal expectations, personal fears, or the limitations we've imposed on ourselves. In this sense, being lost isn't just a state of confusion, but an act of defiance. It's a refusal to accept a life that doesn't align with our true selves. But there's another aspect to being lost that we often overlook, one that's not about rebellion, but about discovery. J.R.R. Tolkien famously wrote, "Not all those who wander are lost." It's a quote that's been repeated so often it's almost become a cliche, but if we really stop and think about it, there's a profound truth there. Sometimes we need to wander, we need to get lost in order to find something new, something that we never would have discovered if we had stayed on the path that was laid out for us. This idea is echoed by Soren Kierkegaard, who said, "Life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forwards." When we're lost, it's hard to see the bigger picture, but often it's only in hindsight that we realize being lost was a necessary part of our journey. It's only by looking back that we can see how all the twists and turns, the dead ends and wrong directions have led us to where we are now. And where does that leave us? What do we do when we're lost? The answer, I think, lies in acceptance. Accepting that being lost is part of the process and that it's okay not to have all the answers. Friedrich Nietzsche once said, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." When we're lost, it's easy to focus on the how, the mechanics of finding our way back, but perhaps what we should be focusing on is the why. Why are we here? What is it that we're truly searching for? If we can find our why, the how becomes less daunting. The uncertainty, the fear, the confusion, they all become easier to bear when we have a sense of purpose, a reason to keep moving forward, even when the path is unclear. Finally, let's not forget that being lost is not a permanent state. It's a phase, a chapter in the book of our lives. As Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor and psychologist, wisely noted, when we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. Being lost challenges us to grow, to adapt, to become more than we were before. It forces us to confront our fears, our limitations, and our deepest desires. And in doing so, it helps us find our way, not just back to where we were, but to a place that's even better. So if you're feeling lost right now, remember this: you're not alone. We've all been there and we'll all be there again. But being lost is not the end. It's just a part of the journey. Embrace it, learn from it, and trust that in time you will find your way. As the poet Rainer Maria Rilke beautifully put it, "Let everything happen to you, beauty and terror, just keep going. No feeling is final." Being lost may feel overwhelming, but it's also an opportunity. to grow, to discover, to become the person you were always meant to be.